Hey everyone, Dana here, and today I'm going to show you how to dissect a cow eye. So first, we want to take a look at the exterior of the eye before we get cutting. We notice the sclera surrounding the eye and the optic nerve exiting through the back of the eye. Now, I've taken the time to remove all the connective and fatty tissue prior to recording so that the eye was ready to go before I dissected it. For my first cut I'm going to grab some scissors and try to puncture the cornea so I can cut around it. You'll notice that the eye is bulging in the cornea, and that's because of the pressure in the eye from both the aqueous and vitreous humor. Now, the aqueous humor sits right behind the cornea in the anterior chamber and is separated from the vitreous humor by both the lens and the vitreous membrane. I'm trying to be very careful not to burst the eye from all this pressure because it's really no joke getting all humor all over you. You can see I am struggling to make that first cut, but once I do, I'll begin to cut around the cornea to remove it as well as the iris and the lens. Now we see that aqueous humor is beginning to leak out as I do this, which is fine because I will remove all of the humor later in the video. And as I finally make that last cut, I get to remove the cornea, and here is the cornea. And now I'm going to remove the iris and lens. However, I was not successful in transecting the iris completely when I was cutting the cornea, so I'm going to go back in to remove the iris. And as a last ditch effort, I'm just going to try to pull to get this lens and iris out. And there we have it. We have the iris and the pupil, which is the center or the opening of the iris. And then here we have the lens, which because of fixation, it actually becomes this hard, dense structure, almost like a marble. I'm going to show you the vitreous membrane. That's that thin structure you see me poking at right now. And I'm doing that so that I can remove the remainder of the aqueous humor and some of the vitreous humor. Now I'm going to make a sagittal cut in the eye to show you a cross section. However, I'm steering clear of that optic nerve, so I'm keeping it on one side of the eye. And now I tried my best to remove all the tissue beforehand, but as you can see, I'm still struggling to get through some of this connective and fatty tissue. And then I do decide to just throw the eye. But once I, recover from that and make a couple more cuts, I managed to get through the back of the eye. And here we have our cross section of the eye. That brown membrane that we see is the retina, so I'm going to point out right now. It is normally not folded up like that, but since I was manhandling this eye, the retina lost shape. And then that jelly-like substance is some vitreous humor, but now I'm just going to remove the retina and the remainder of that vitreous humor to expose the tapetum lucidium as well as the choroid. And that tapetum lucidium is the reflective, colorful part that acts as a extra reflective area for light to pass back through the retina. And then here we're going to see the blind spot. That's where the optic nerve converges. And now keep in mind that since this is a monocular animal, so this animal has monocular vision, it will not have a fovea. And here is my other prettier dissected eye, and I hope you enjoyed.